So you do have to wonder if some of these collections are as arduous as trying to move the Saracen stones in the UK at Stonehenge. You do have to wonder how they did that. How did they move? They were 25 tons a piece. Wait a minute. A call? Is it again from another extraterrestrial? Let's pick it up and find out. Hello? Oh, it's you, wizard. Well, I don't mean to sound excited, but I know you're an extraterrestrial, but I was hoping for something different. I mean, at least TK FOMO. Well, there you go. At least that there's TK FOMO. Well, I am quite certain that your Hot Toys collection is far greater than mine. No, I'm pretty sure my size is way bigger. Wizard. Let's go ahead and dive into all of this. Right now. All right, welcome to another 100 proof short, baby, right here at 6 Scale Cantina. I am your host, Aries Tarrington, and let's go ahead and get right into this. Collection size. Do we do it for status, or do we do it for excitement? And if we're doing it for excitement, if we're doing it for joy, if we're doing it because, we just love it, and we're not trying to compete with this one, or compete with that one, or keep up with the Joneses here, or keep up with the Joneses there. It's a pretty cool and neat thing to be involved with and to do. And, with the question of, if you're doing it for status, if you're doing it because you feel like you don't fit in, because your collection is not as big as Tom, Dick, or Harry's, or you don't feel as special or as contributive as some other people in the community because you don't have everything that Mary, Jane, and Sue have in their collection. And I'm here to free you from that notion. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if someone has a greater collection than you. That doesn't preclude you from being able to contribute in Discord, or being able to contribute on Instagram, or on Facebook, or on a forum, or even creating your own channel, just as impactful as they do. Just because your collection may not be as big as others, that's okay. You still have your quality and your expertise that you can bring to the table. Quite frankly, as well, there's some collectors where you may not have as big of a collection as them, but you also don't have as big of a rolling debt, as some of them do anyway as well. Okay? And there's some intelligence you could bring into the hobby just from that view alone. But let me give you a state in point here, a case in point. So the case in point is going to be how I personally handle my finances right now, in direct correlation with this volatile global economy and with a huge impact that it has on my expendable income at this current moment. NRDs are important. Putting down deposits on these figures before they hit waitlist are very, very important, especially during these times. Some of these figures, once they go on waitlist, you can, for a good amount of them, still get them at retail if you're able to secure them within the first several months when they come out right now, I'm noticing. But there's also a great deal of them where you do. It's like half and half. Have to pay more, and sometimes a lot more, right off the bat. Because what have I been saying for such a long time? There's going to be more and more announcements, but less production of those announcements. And that is exactly what is going on right now with so many collectibles. And it's going on right now with Hot Toys. So if you don't want to pay more money for the Green Goblin, for instance, or perhaps more money for Crosshair, for instance, or perhaps more money for the Warner Brothers 100 Gal Gadot Wonder Woman, for instance, is putting down your NRD important to ensure that you're not, perhaps in some cases, like in those, going to pay more money? And I say yes. So I think we've established that NRDs are very, very important in certain hobbies, like when you're collecting Hot Toys and things of that nature. Just like sometimes bargains in the secondary market on Grail pieces, once in a blue moon, are very important to jump on when the opportunity arises. But what if you don't have the money even for that bargain in the secondary market, or to put money down on extra figures, even though someone you know is? Should you also do it if it's going to put yourself in financial hardship? If it's going to stress you out and give you anxiety? If it's going to put your, household expenses and bills and things of that nature in jeopardy? Should you still do it? And while it seems like that is a very, very, very easily answered question by everybody really with logic and common sense, and certainly in a crowd able to point out, oh yeah, sure, absolutely, of course. But sometimes for a lot of people, it's not as easy as you think. And sometimes we put pressure on ourselves. Oh, collector, Tom, Dick, or Harry has this particular figure, and look, they're able to put NRDs down on 24, and I can only put NRDs down on 6. I know if I put another, 10 or 20 NRDs down, that even a couple of them, that it's really going to put me over the edge, and my significant other is going to get a little bit upset, and I really don't got the money, but I really need to do it. Why? Why do you feel that you need to do it? And I think that there's a couple of pressures there. Number one, it could be status. Oh, well, she's getting it. Or, well, he's getting it. Or I just watched this review and it's incredible. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, just about every Hot Toy review is incredible nowadays. And despite being incredible as these Hot Toys are, don't feel like you need to buy them because of how incredible they are. You need to be able to show some restraint. If you're in a situation where restraint is appropriate. So if you don't have the money or the means to be able to buy a certain amount of figures, and only a lesser amount, or perhaps at a particular time, 0 amount, you need to feel good about that, Good in the fact that you're not putting yourself in a financially bad situation, that you're not putting yourself into a pickle that's going to take quite a lot of creativity financially to try and work yourself out of. That relieves stress right there. And as far as what can come across as initial stress that is easily negated or handled depending on your perspective, that comes from number one, status. Oh, well, if I don't have as much as, if I don't have as many secondary market figures, or I don't have as many NRDs down as Tom, Dick, or Harry, or Mary, Jane, or Sue, is it possible that perhaps I'm not as relevant or a collector as Mary, Jane, or Sue, or Tom, Dick, or Harry? And I'm here to tell you that I say no. It doesn't. It has no bearing whatsoever on your status or your credibility and what you bring to the table in the collecting community. Everybody has different things that they bring to the table. And as a matter of fact, if you're in a situation where you have to exercise some sort of restraint or are actually, use doing things that are appropriate for you and your family at that particular time, or your household, then you are bringing something very valuable into the community. You're showing other collectors that may be in your situation that it is absolutely okay to do that. And that also stems, which is really not the same thing, but we'll tie it in, to somebody feeling, oh, I really love Hot Toys. I've been checking them out for years and I don't have a one, or I just have one. I bought one and I really want to contribute to the community and I want to say something in the chat, or you even want to just jump in and start doing a channel. Uh, who says that you can't? Who says that you can't? Fresh perspectives are always welcome, at least for me. Always welcome in the community. As a matter of fact, sometimes you get into a rut and, you keep going down the same thing, and that could be like a habit. And then what started off as joy, what started off as something where you were just in for collecting joy, maybe turned into, a habit, where it's like, oh man, oh yeah, well it's just what I do. I gotta keep buying, and it's almost like that. The honeymoon's over. You meet somebody and then you get married, and then after a few weeks or a few months, you realize that the honeymoon is over, and then you're not putting any work into the relationship. You're not communicating anymore. And things can get rough if that happens, because, the grass isn't greener on any side, whether it's collecting or whether it's relationships or something like that. You've got to put the work into it. And part of the work that you've got to put into when you are collecting these things is being able to see what your situation is. What do you think that these companies do? What do you think companies like Hot Toys and these distributors and these sellers do? They're constantly evaluating their inventory. They're constantly evaluating what they have on pre-order. They're constantly evaluating, how many people that they need to hire and what their, production schedule is, and, what's on in the pipeline for R&D, and so on and so forth. Is it possible that on the other end, as a consumer, as a collector, that you should be doing the same thing? And I say yes. And if you are doing those things, does that make you any less of a collector than someone who has 10 million figures? No. You're bringing what your expertise are to the table, whether you have one figure, 10 figures, 50 figures, 500 figures, 50,000 figures. It does not matter. So take all of that status and pressure. Oh, I've got to keep up. I've got to keep up. Honestly, get that out of your mind. Let me free you from that notion. You see right here with this channel creator, for instance, I don't collect everything at all. And it's not because I don't want to. Shoot, I'll drive a Lamborghini if I was able to get the money for it. But I don't, and I'm fine with it. You know what I mean? It's just it's what it is, and I enjoy trying to segment out what it is that I'm really interested in, what it is that's coming on the horizon that I'm spilling my coffee over. And I spill my coffee just about over all of these hot toys, but I spill a little bit more on some of them than others. And with the ones that I'm spilling a little bit more over, is it possible that those are the ones that are going on my wish list? Those are the ones that I'm trying to budget for. Those are the ones that I'm trying to plan for. Those are the ones that I'm going to attempt to put an NRD down on, and or those are the ones, if it's in the secondary market, that I'm going to attempt to save up for or look for a deal on and go ahead and pull the trigger on if I get an opportunity. And I say yes. So if you're getting into it, you need to be able to. It's kind of like when you're in anything else; it could become a habit, and then you're forgetting why you're doing it. And if you're doing it because you do want a collection that is the size of a museum, where I know a lot of collectors that is their ambition, but I also know that they have a plan in place, and it's not a 3-month plan or even a 3-year plan. A lot of times it can be over the course of 10 years, 15 years, 10 years. These are achievable goals. And if you could do it within 3 months or within 3 years, that is absolutely great if you're able to do it. And if it's going to take you 30 years, that is also absolutely great. And you know what? If you're in the course of the 30-year period, and you're feeling, I'm going to have the same passion as I had 5 years ago, is it okay to take a step back? Is it okay to want to sell things off and maybe get into another collection? Look, I did that with Black Series. I really did. I did that with Hasbro quite a lot. I just wasn't into it anymore. Is it okay if I want to go back into it? Sure it is. I can do whatever it is that I want. Follow your heart. But not only following your heart, follow the common sense that's in your head. And make sure that you're not getting yourself into a habit rather than a hobby. Separate hobby from habit. And if you're doing it out of habit, you may want to consider taking a look back and making sure you're doing this as a hobby, and make sure that you continue to have the joy in your heart and are not putting undue stress on yourself and on your loved ones, and certainly with any financial and economic situation on your end. If you're doing it for status or any of that kind of stuff, get that out of your head. It means absolutely nothing. And if you like what you watched here, listen, this just got uploaded. And you're going to want to check it out. Does Sideshow or distributors like Sideshow or any resellers, do they really need or want stock? Now, nobody really knows, but it's a question I'm posing. Or do they just want pre-orders? And you're not going to want to miss this Insider Extra. I put out all kinds of neat things like this on the on the channel for members. Just click on the little join button, see everything that it comes with. You could check this out. You could check out all the Insider Extras this year, a series that's going on, and you could also check out all the Drunk on Coffees that is exclusive now. That's an exclusive show, just like Insider Extras, that are up for channel members as well. I do appreciate the support. I don't always spill all my coffee and need to sober up with deluxe spotchka, but when I do, I do it right here at the 6 Scale Cantina. Stay thirsty, my friends.